Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to discuss a vulnerability in the Power BI report system that exposes sensitive information to viewers of reports. It's a vulnerability that we discussed with Microsoft, which consider it to be a design choice, and I will let you judge. Um, So Power BI, a very powerful tool used by citizen developers and data analysts to create visually appealing reports over corporate data. And what we will show you today is how a data analyst or a citizen developer creates a new report. He will then choose two tables to be incorporated in the report. Now, in reality, that person is going to end up using only one of those tables, and he's going to avoid putting sensitive data into the visuals of the report. That citizen developer then takes the reports and publishes it to the Power BI service, and then using the Power BI service, the report is then published to the internet. We'll show you how an attacker can find the report, for example, through Google search, and then using the Power BI APIs, the interfaces that provide the display of the report in browsers, will be able to analyze the structure of the underlying data, find out that there is more data to be exposed than what you really see in the visual part of the report, and then extract that extra information which is sensitive and expose it on the internet. We will start our journey in the Power BI Studio where we create reports. You can see that we've incorporated two tables in our report, the HR and HR performance table. Both, by the way, may contain sensitive information. You see that the report only includes aggregated data about HR and employees. In particular, what we will do in order to avoid risk is hide the social security number column and hide the HR performance table because we didn't end up using it. So we have a report that we can now publish to our Power BI server. It includes aggregated data. So basically, we see nothing sensitive in the report itself. And we make it available to our Power BI service. Once the report is on our Power BI service, we can now look at it and make sure that the data is not sensitive and publish it to the internet. You can see that I get a warning here about publishing sensitive data, which again, I made sure there is none in the report visuals. So the report is now public, and I can go ahead and even test it to make sure that it can be accessed on the web. So now that our report is published to the web, question is, how can an attacker find the report? So for one, if we intentionally published it to our website, for example, in order to provide public information about our company, aggregated data about our company to everyone, then that attacker can find the access to the report from our website. No need for any tricks. Sometimes these reports are published by accident or were published in the past but are no longer part of our website or our active website. One way for attackers to find these reports is using Google searches. There are a number of Google Docs, special search terms that can be used to find out Power BI reports that are exposed to the internet. And here's just an example of such a search term and a sample of the results that we get. Now that the report is available on the internet and an attacker found its way to view the report, they can go ahead with the next step of the attack. We will see that an attacker can now take a look at the browser activity when viewing the report. And we can see that one of the requests made by the browser discloses the data model behind that report. And that data model includes, to our surprise, all the columns and the tables that we originally included in the report, even those that were marked hidden. So now the attacker knows about the extra data that is out there. The next step is how to actually access this data that is not shown on the screen. So for that, we will look at another call made from our browser to the reporting service, which is the request that brings the data in. We will take this request, the query data request, and now use it with another tool, not our browser. The easiest way to tamper with requests that we want to send to the server is through the Postman tool. So we take the request from the browser, we paste it into our Postman, and we clean up most of the stuff from the request that we do not need. After the cleanup, we go back to our browser, we look at the information that we want to add to the data that is extracted, so the sensitive data that was not included in the visual part of the report, and we incorporate it in the request that we're now going to send to the service. We send the tempered request, and as you can see, we get both the email information, which we see here, and the social security numbers, which we see here. So not just an aggregation of the sensitive information, but the actual detailed records of sensitive information were extracted from the service, although the person who created the report and published it marked them as hidden. If you remember, there was a social security number column that was hidden in the original report, but there was also an entire table, the HR performance table, that was hidden in the original report. Now, what the attacker is going to do now is, again, take the information from this hidden table and incorporate it in yet another request that we send to the Power BI service. You can see that, again, we're changing the names in the request. We're taking the performance information and sending it. You will see here that the information that we extracted from the service contains the performance scores, as well as identifying data from the HR performance table. So again, information that was considered to be hidden, and from the perspective of the person who created the report, should not have been available to anyone viewing the report, is accessible to external attackers. Let's look at the aftermath of this vulnerability. As you can imagine, from the perspective of the person who creates reports, that's a very easy mistake to make. The feature says hidden column. The feature says hidden table. There is no way for us to know that it would be eventually accessible to anyone who sees the report, which explains why this type of reports creates a huge external attack surface, and on top of that, a potential compliance nightmare, even when these reports are internal to the organization. That was all for today. If you want to learn more, contact us for some remediation guidance, check out our upcoming attack videos, and book your demo with us for Power BI and Power Platform security solutions.